What's going on YouTube? Justin Fuller here, and today I've got a 2023 Honda HR-V, and we're gonna go through some tips and tricks so that you don't own this thing for a year and then watch one of my videos and go, damn, I didn't even know it could do that. So let's hop on in. Alright guys, so today it's 98 degrees here in Austin, Texas. So when you're walking out to your car, the car is set up to where when you touch your door handle, it'll unlock your door, right? But it won't unlock your passengers or your other side. So whether the weather's really hot, or it's really cold, or it's raining, I wanna show you how to change the settings to where all the doors will unlock when you open your door.
All right guys, so here we are and we're gonna jump into settings. Now, once we're into settings, we wanna scroll down. So you're gonna have to scroll down a few different times until you get down to keyless access setup. Now, we wanna select that. Now, when you jump into this, you want door unlock mode. Now, I've already changed this option, so you're gonna see the first thing that appears is all doors. Now, for your vehicle, if you haven't changed this yet, what you're gonna see is driver's door only, right? So make sure that you come down and you change that to all doors. Once you've done that, now whenever you touch your handle on your car, it will unlock all the doors so that all your passengers can get in. All right, guys, so this next tip or trick is gonna be related to your gauges, right? So I'm gonna flip you around here and I wanna talk to you about what you're seeing down here, right? So you've got a lot going on. You've got a tachometer and you're gonna have this light that lights up here to let you know as far as your fuel efficiency backlight and different things going on when you're driving. And sometimes it can be distracting. So I wanna show you how to turn these things off in case you want it. So once again, we're gonna jump into settings. Now, once we're under settings, we wanna scroll down to meter setup. Now, once you get under meter setup, you're gonna have a couple different options, right? So the first one is gonna be, I'm gonna come down here to fuel efficiency backlight. I can turn that feature off right here. And then also I can come down one more to tachometer. Now, once I get to tachometer, I can turn that off as well. What's cool about this is now when I'm jumping through different menus and coming around here, you're not gonna see that tachometer living around this, right? So it's gonna clean up that display a little bit so I have a little bit less to look at.
Now, I mentioned earlier that it's about 98 degrees here in Austin, Texas. So when you're walking out to your car, it's gonna be hot when you get in. But what Honda's done is added a feature that you would find in a lot of other vehicles now in the car. So if you wanna roll your windows down before you get out to it, you can press the unlock button once and then press it twice and hold. And as you hold, it'll start to roll them down. Now, if you're in a vehicle that has a moonroof, it'll even roll that down as well. Now, you may be saying to yourself, hey, that's a cool trick and all, but what if I accidentally roll down my windows and it's raining outside, right? What if I have these keys in my pocket and I lay down and it happens to hit it and hold? Well, what if I told you could turn this feature off to where they don't auto roll down? Let me show you how to do that.
All right, so once again, guys, we are gonna jump into settings. Now, once we're under settings, we're gonna scroll down to door setup. Now, I know that sounds a little bit off, but that's where door and window setup used to be. They had them connected, so they don't show that anymore. So once we jump into this, we're gonna scroll down. Now, we're gonna keep scrolling until we see keyless remote power window controls, and we wanna select that. So currently that is turned off. If I turn this feature off, now I don't have to worry about accidentally rolling down the windows in a thunderstorm. All right, guys, so I just want to remind you that today's video has been brought to you by the Topdon Jump Starter. Now, if you've never used one of these, I'll say they're awesome, guys. You know, for someone who used to use jumper cables all the time, you have to awkwardly walk up to somebody if you're out in a parking lot because you've killed the battery of your car and see if they'll help you out. It can feel a little bit dangerous and sketchy depending on where you're at. And let's be honest, sometimes it's just super awkward, right? This thing, right? This box right here that comes with this, which then the jump pack lives inside of this, right? Will jump a 6-liter, even a diesel engine, right? You can use this on a car, you can use it on a truck, you can use it on your boat if you're out there and you leave some lights on or do something and you kill the battery to your boat. I've used it camping quite a few times because it does have 2 USB inputs on it, which I'll show you. My inputs are actually right here. So I've got a 3 amp and I've got a 2.1 amp. So it's fantastic in that sense. It'll actually charge your phone from 0 to 80% in 35 minutes, which is it's kind of insane, for being honest. So 60,000 milliamps, this thing is pretty sweet, guys. As someone who has owned quite a few of these, I would highly recommend it. This one's nice just because it's a little bit larger and you can jump some of those larger vehicles, right? If you have a larger truck, if you've got a larger vehicle, a car, a minivan, whatever it may be, right? A boat. So highly recommend these because you can use them not only when you're camping, you can use it out on your boat. You could use, of course, just for the basics of, hey, I need to jump my vehicle, and be able to charge your phone, right? So if I'm out and about and I need to charge my phone and for some reason I don't have access to those things, I could take this with me, right? I could throw this in a book bag and carry it along with me and be able to charge, right? So if I want to listen to my Bluetooth speaker, but it's not charged, why not just take one of this and plug it on? And what's cool about it is it's got, you know, LED lights when it turns on, so very easy to understand. And then all the inputs are labeled as you move around the piece. So highly recommend, guys, Topdon. If you get a chance, down in the description, I'll throw a link if you're interested in one. Don't get caught stranded, you know, especially when stuff like this exists out there.
All right, guys, so these next couple tips and tricks are gonna be related to your tailgate. So I'm gonna show you a couple different things on this. So let me hop on out of here and close it up, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and close it, and I'm gonna step back here and let's lock the doors. Now, the first part to this is I want you to know that there is a button on here that you may be a little bit confused about, and you can see it right there with the tailgate open. This car does not have a powered tailgate, but what this button does is it just simply unlocks the tailgate. So if you needed to get into it, I've unlocked it now to where I can get into this nice and easy, right? Without unlocking the rest of the vehicle. Now I'm gonna go ahead and lock it again. Now I wanna remind you of another feature. Because this car has smart key entry, you can walk up to the front door and we show how to unlock it, and it'll unlock the remaining doors. But I wanna show you how to use the tailgate to do this, right? So if you come up here underneath the tailgate, there's actually a button that you can see right up in there. And if you press that button, boom, I can unlock it or lock the vehicle. So this way, if I've got groceries or anything in my hands, I don't have to worry about getting the key fob out and doing anything with it. I can just simply reach with my hand, unlock it, and then put my belongings in the back of the vehicle. All right, guys, so this next trick is kind of an important one because we're talking about gas. And as we can all agree, gas seems to just keep getting more expensive. So let's talk about the gas cap first here. So the first thing I want to point out is they changed this to be like the Civic and the Accord in the sense that if I have the doors unlocked on the vehicle, this is now unlocked where I can just pop it open, right? Same thing, if I lock the doors of the vehicle, this won't open. So there's not going to be like a gas door release up in the front of the car. Know that it's connected to the door locks, which is really nice to have. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this open and show you that, one, this is capless, right? So you don't have like a standard cap on it. Now, if you run out of gas, what does that mean? It means you need a way to hold this open so that you can pour gas into the vehicle. So I'm gonna bring you around to the back of the car where I've already lifted up this bottom partition, right? Now, under this bottom partition, I'm gonna get back here, you'll see that you have your jack and some of your accessories, and then this small funnel that lives right here. Now, if you've never seen any of my videos, I love to make jokes about this funnel, but it is actually very useful because this funnel will hold that open in case I need to pour gas in, right? Maybe I'm using a water bottle. Maybe I'm using a Ziploc bag. I don't know, get creative with it, but you need something to hold this open so that you can pour gas into it, and that's what this funnel is for. All right, guys, so this next tip or trick is not really a tip, but it's just something kind of cool that you may not know about your Honda. So if you're looking at your Honda, the bottom of the H is always gonna point to where your valve is. Don't believe me? Well, check this out. Let's walk around and check all the wheels. When I come over here, bottom of my H, there's my valve. When I come over to the next wheel, bottom of my H, there's my valve. One last time, am I gonna get 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4? Bottom of my H, there's my valve. Pretty cool, right? All right, guys, so this next tip or trick is gonna be related to your parking brake, right? You may use this, you may not use it, just depending on how often you use it. So you get in your car, you go ahead and hop in, right? You got your key in your pocket and you crank up the car, right? Now, what a lot of us may do is go, okay, well, let me put my seatbelt on here, and then I'm gonna throw it in drive and try to take off, right? Well, when I do that, I'm gonna forget that this is there, and I'm gonna go hit a gas and be like, oh, I blew it. You know, I forgot that I left the parking brake on. Now, there's a way around this, guys. If I put my seatbelt on before I do all of this, I put the car in drive, if I just touch the gas pedal, you'll see that it released the parking brake for me, right? You can see the red light is no longer on, so that I don't have to remember to turn this off every time. Now, if I get in the car and try to shift it before I put my seatbelt on, this whole function will not work. So remember the order, guys. If I'm using this, I have to put my seatbelt on first, right? So seatbelt's gotta go on, then I would be able to shift to drive. Then you can see the parking brakes on. I'd be able to touch the gas pedal. It now releases and I can take off. All right, guys, so we've talked about a lot of what ifs today, right? What if my car battery dies and I don't have jumper cables, you know, things like Topdon and how they can help you, or just different scenarios that you may run into. So this one's kind of interesting. If your car battery dies, you're not gonna be able to use this to get into the doors, right? And you'll notice that unlike older cars, you don't just have a normal spot you can plug in the key to get into it. So I'm gonna show you a trick. First off, you're gonna come to your key fob. Now on your key fob, there's a button you can press. If you press that button, you can slide out an actual key. So I've got this key. Now that's part one of this too, right? So I'm gonna come up here. Now, if you're in here, you're gonna wanna look up under your door handle and you can see that there's actually a slot for that key, right? So at that point, I could then take this, hold it open, and slide my key into that and be able to unlock my door. So if the battery's dead, I can get into this. Now I would be able to get my belongings out if I needed to, right? If I'm waiting for a ride, or I could get to my Topdon and jump the vehicle. All right, guys, so this next tip or trick is gonna be related to your backup camera,
right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and throw the car into reverse, right? When I throw it into reverse, you're gonna see the backup camera turn on, right? Now on here, I've got 3 different views, right? No big secret there. You may know about these different views. So if you're backing up, you have one aimed straight down. I've got a normal view and then a wide angle view. But what you may not know about is this button over here. And depending if it's on or off, you may not know. And now what this button is, if you can see it right there, is cross traffic monitoring. Now what that means is there are sensors off the back of the car. So if you're backing up, right, I have the car in reverse and somebody is to drive behind me and they're coming from the left or the right, it'll beep in the car and show me arrows on the screen to let me know which way they're coming from. So if you're sitting in between 2 large SUVs and you can't see and you're backing out, this may just save you a trip to the emergency room or a phone call to your insurance company. All right guys, so this next tip or trick, or really a couple of tricks, is gonna be related to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, right? So I'm using a Google Pixel, so that's what I'm gonna show you on the screen, but know that this will work for both of them. So the couple things that I wanna go over is 1, how can I customize the background on my Android Auto or Apple CarPlay background? 2, how can I arrange the apps to whatever order I want? And then how can I add custom buttons in there, right? Like a certain person I always want to call, or an actual destination that includes an action, right? Like I can press a button and it immediately pulls up GPS and directions home. I want to show you how to set some of these things up. All right, guys, so here we are and I have Android Auto pulled up. And I want to point out a couple different things that you're seeing on here. The first is that I have a custom background, and the custom backgrounds, guys, are super easy. All you're gonna have to do is come down to settings. Once you jump into settings, you can scroll on down here to wallpaper, right? Once you get to wallpaper, you can go ahead and select that. And then there's gonna be plenty of options that you can choose from. So instead of the mountains background, maybe I wanna go over to dusk, right? Boom, now it's set. All I gotta do is back out and I have it set to that. So now when I jump back to that screen, easy enough. Now the second part to this is, hey, what if I want to arrange these in a certain order? How do I do that? Well, you're going to want to hold down on any of these, right? Now when you do that, it's going to tell you app has launched on your phone, which it has, right? So here's the app. Now on here I can see that Spotify is number 1, Maps, Phone, and Calendar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange that, right? So let's say I'm going to move Maps to number 1. I'm going to use Phone to number 2, and I'm going to use Calendar number 3, right? So that now I'm going to have a different display. Now for this to take place, I'm going to have to unplug this, and I'm gonna have to plug my phone back in so that it can reset, right? Reconnect and now make these changes. So once it does that, it will load back up the screen here. Now I'm gonna jump back to that home button. Now you'll notice where Spotify was number 1, now I got Maps, Phone, Calendar, and Spotify, just as I mentioned, as I've made those changes. So very easy to do so. Now, let's talk about this one step further. What if I want to add in custom options, right? So I've got a couple of them right here. If I wanted to call my Google phone number, which if you guys are ever trying to reach me, my number is in the description of every video and on the about section of my channel. So if you ever have questions, feel free to reach out to me. All I have to do is press this and it'll immediately start calling that number, right? So it makes it very easy for me to do. So I'm not going to go ahead and call myself because that really doesn't make sense. Now, the second part to this you can see is that I have Google Maps set up and I've already set it up to direct me to home. So if I go ahead and select on that, right, it's going to pull up like it was waiting.
Your home is 28 minutes from your location by car in moderate traffic.
There we go. And then it's going to pull up Google Maps and start directing to my home, right? So it's very nice that I don't have to pull up Google Maps, select home, and do that every time. I can just simply press one button to get it to do this. All right, guys, so to set up this action, all you've got to do again, press and hold on here to get the app to launch in your phone, or you can just simply go to it and launch it. Now, once you're here, at the very top, there's add a shortcut to the launcher. You can go ahead and select that. Now, this is where I've done both. I've set up to where I can make an immediate phone call to a person or an assistant action, right? So if I wanted to set up a call for someone, set up call a contact, then you'll just select the contact. But let's talk about the harder of the two, the action, right? So I'm gonna go to the select an action, right? Now, assistant command and launcher icon. What these two are is, of course, what do I want the command to be, right? Directions home or whatever it may be. And then what app do I want to launch to do so? So for the sake of this, I collected with Google Maps, right? You could do it with Waze if you wanted. Now, once you've set these two up, you can test your command, guys. So make sure it works. And then once it does, just hit create. Once you've created it, then you'll have to do the same thing again, unplug and plug your phone back in. It'll land on the map. And then of course you can put it in any order wherever you want it. All right, guys, so we made it through some tips and tricks on the 2023 Honda HR-V. Now, if you're thinking about buying a 2022, I will remind you that it is a different vehicle. This is a body style change. If you've never seen some of those videos, know that I've got some. I'll throw one up on the screen that you can get to check it out, because there are some cool tricks that one will do with some of the seating arrangements and different things that this vehicle won't do. It'll also do some cool stuff with the touchscreen. So I've got a tips and tricks for that video as well that I can throw up. Actually, I'll throw that up there too. So I've got a couple videos coming your way. Just a reminder as I head out, this video today was sponsored by Topdon. The guys with these jump starters, they're awesome. I can't recommend them enough, guys. As I said, I've used one myself plenty of times when I'm out camping and doing different things. I'm an active person, so needing to charge your phone when you don't have a plug around, or just needing to be able to power up your vehicle, it can be very important, right? You don't want to get trapped out somewhere camping and not be able to get back. And the fact that this will work on like a diesel truck, this will work on a boat, this will charge your phone 0 to 80% in 35 minutes. That's insane. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm interested. I'm curious, right? So just a reminder about that. Other than that, I hope you do me a couple different things. One, I hope you leave a comment on this video for a couple reasons. One, it makes my heart swell. Two, I hope you press the like button because it helps push this video a little bit further up that search results and lets people know that this is good content if you're trying to learn about the HRV. Lastly, I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel so that I can tell you about other cool stuff, right? When guys send me out sponsored stuff like this and ask me to review it, I'll tell you the truth. If I think it's garbage, I will let you know if it's garbage. If it's something I actually use myself, I'll be glad to show it to you. I got one of these in my truck over there right now. Outside of that, I hope that you will share this video. If you got a friend who's thinking about buying an HRV or maybe has bought one and just hasn't quite learned that much, because let's be honest, you buy this car, you go sit at the dealership all day, your brain's fried, and then you get in it and they're explaining stuff before you leave. You're not going to remember any of that stuff. You're just not, right? You're like, just give me the keys, I want to go home. I just want to hook up my phone so I can listen to music. I'll figure it all out later. I'll read the manual. You're never going to read the manual. You're going to go onto YouTube and you're going to find a video like this one, and we're going to help you out. So hopefully you'll share this video with some friends out there in case they have purchased this or thinking about it, so that they know some of the cool things that this car can do. Other than that, appreciate you tuning in. I hope you will like, subscribe, share, all of the things, guys. Later!